Happy Saturday evening, everybody. I am so glad to see everybody here. Um, I'm excited about tonight's interview, honestly, because I've seen some of Dark Wood. You guys probably know Dark Woodz, or you've seen Dark Woodz, and he's been around a while, and he's got some really interesting research that he does. And I just thought it would be amazing to have him on, pick his brain a little bit, get some, some insight, from somebody who's out there who lives in it, who's in it every day, who's finding all kinds of different cryptid evidence, and I'm really excited to have him here tonight. So I just want to thank everybody again for being here and say hi to my peeps in the chat real quick. Hey there, Gary, Val. I love you guys so much. You're always here. James, hi, James. And let's see who else is here. We've got Primal Cry. How are you? We have Miriam. We've got, let's see who else. Hey, Donnie. We've got Donnie Cho in the house tonight. It's Rothian Fairmoon. Is that it? I hope I pronounced that correctly. It's your first time here. Thank you. Thank you for coming and welcome. And Miss Dina, my bestie over there. And did I miss anybody? Shane. Hey, Shane, how are ya? I'm so glad you're here. And my friend Claude and Mr. J. Fritz. Thank you. Thanks, guys, for coming tonight. And I think it's going to be an amazing show. We even have some evidence that Dark Woodz is going to allow us to check out tonight. That he's come across. So let's give him a wonderful introduction and bring him on. Dark Woodz, who currently resides in beautiful northern Wisconsin. His interest in cryptids resulted from a series of events that transpired in 2018. Since then, he has been performing quite a bit of his own boots-on-the-ground research into the paranormal and the Sasquatch around his home and the surrounding areas. There's so much to learn about ourselves, the real world, and the Sasquatch. In the span of 4 years of experience, he's ready for the next level. He's on a journey to broaden his lens of perception of the forest people, their culture, and their way of life. His goal is to have respectful contact. So y'all know when I hear somebody wanting to do and have and create respectful contact, I am all about it. So let's bring on my friend, Mr. Dark Woodz. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Hi, chat, everyone there. I can't see chat too good, so I won't be able to see their comments, but I'm glad that you showed up.
Yes. I'm so glad that we got an opportunity to just like sit down and talk about, because I did. I mean, I saw your interviews on with Truth and Bass. Like, I really, I think what I get very fascinated about with researchers such as yourself is that you guys, you live with it every day, day in, day out. I unfortunately am in a concrete jungle, and I don't get the exposure, to the cryptids in the same way that you do, and it's a daily thing. So what tell me a little bit about the type of research that you do and some of the approaches that you take to get some of the evidence you have.
Well, a lot of my research I do is out here in the woods, back that way about 10 minutes, and 15 minutes back there is a river, a nice source for animals and things. But I go back there initially because I'm a hunter and I look for deer tracks, signs of game trails, where I may want to set up in the fall for hunting deer. And that's when I started coming across evidence of Bigfoot in the area. I had a nice footprint that I found. And ever since then, it's escalated into seeing objects and shapes inside the woods moving really fast. It's almost every other day that you see something. But I go out there a lot and see if there's any new things. We found tree structures And I found some across the road about a mile back on a dirt road that's out in the middle of the woods. A lot of evidence down there. Some of the photos I caught were down in that area too. But I'd
So
have
what
to give credit to
can,
Primal Cry. She's
uh-huh.
been she's basically been studying and witnessing things like this for over 20 years.
Oh wow.
And I was kind of ignorant to it before my incident in 2018. I just knew the word Bigfoot, but I didn't know much about it or gave it much thought. And
Hmm.
after that incident, I had a burning desire. I think they implanted that in my head, but I had a burning desire to research and find out as much as I could. And I did do a lot of armchair researching because anywhere you can get information, as many podcasters there
Hmm.
are out there, I just sucked it all up and made comparisons and cross
Yeah.
references. And then I apply it to what I discover out here. So
Hmm.
tree structures, footprints, and then eventually photos. It's been a very interesting journey so far. And like you said, I'd like to ramp that up a bit now because I'm ready for the next level.
Yeah. So what do you think the next level is for you? Do you think it's mind speak or communication with them? I mean, I obviously respectful contact. Um, do, do you think that is that where you want to take the research, is to continue to build relationships with them?
Well, that is true. And the best way to know about things, even if it's going to be freaky to do, would be to actually interact with them.
Hmm.
I'm not going to sure if it's going to be in the form of mind speak or or if they could actually speak. Well, some type of communication is where I'm going to go with it.
Hmm. Hmm.
I'm sure that in 2020, I had a chance under unusual circumstances where I got some really good photos. I believe that was uh, set up for me to actually have contact with them. And instead, I just took a picture and I ran because I guess I wasn't ready for that
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, because in the beginning, when we're all doing this, and then if you haven't had a sighting, because there's so many people who do this research and never have a sighting. I'm not
that's
saying
true.
it. Yeah, and I'm not saying anything bad about those people. Please don't misunderstand me, everybody. That's not what I'm saying. But I do feel and I do believe 100% that they choose who they want to reveal themselves to and when.
Yeah, yeah,
And I do believe it has everything to do with the position of your heart. You know,
that's
like
very true.
they know your intention, and they know it, they feel it, and then they're receptive to it, and then they show themselves. That's just my opinion. And I,
I think you're correct on that for sure. And one thing too, a lot of people go out looking for them in the woods and stuff,
mhm,
and they're just gonna hide and run away from you.
right.
You're better off building a fire, having fun,
Yes.
and
Yes.
being a positive mind, and they'll
Hmm.
come to you.
Exactly. I tell people that all the time. I'm like, just go out and live your life. Go out, go camping, sit around the fire, talk, laugh, play some music. They'll come in and check you out. Their curiosity is something that is their weakness, in my opinion. Their weakness is their curiosity.
It could also be a gain, being
True.
curious, you learn things.
Yeah.
One thing I do want to specify
Hmm.
is there's several types of cryptids that I'm aware of out there from all the research I do. And I'm actually also trying to get to the bottom of who these forest people really are. Where they come from, have they been here forever? But there are some that are designed, I'd say, and could
Hmm.
be quite dangerous. And then there could be original, authentic ones that turn down the wrong path. So I
Yeah.
can't say that all of them are real nice or whatever. You do have to use
Hmm.
discernment, and you have to be careful around that for sure. So that's the edgy part of wanting communication. But with my encounter that I had with them, there was zero fear, no dread, no doom, nothing projected to me. Did have an unusual situation where I believe I thought it was the Holy Spirit in me that was telling me something's over there, but now I'm coming to find out that they were trying to make communication. And I've also had some credible sources that also had the same view. So,
Yeah, it's very when it first happens to you, that communication, the okay, everybody calls it mind speak. However,
right.
I've learned through my own journey that it's not necessarily you're hearing an actual voice in your head. Sometimes some people do. Don't I'm not saying that they
Yeah.
don't.
Yep.
Some people actually do hear them in their minds. They hear another voice. Okay. In my experience, it's an overwhelming sense of knowing
Yes.
and things I don't it's so strange. It's like things just come to me and yet I can when certain thoughts come in my mind, I know they're not my thoughts even though it isn't a voice. I know it's it's coming from something else. And I know but
Yeah.
I'm not I don't want to give any like specifics cuz people think you're crazy, right? Do people I mean like they do. They think you're crazy. They'll be like, "Yeah, right. That really
We're
happened."
crazy. We're crazy for even doing this.
Yeah.
So it
You're
doesn't
right.
matter to me.
You're right. You're so right about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I understand that. I understand that whole, and it's very intimidating, but but there's a lot of times when I feel very conflicted because I have not had an aggressive encounter at all. Every encounter that I've had has been, very neutral, very I never felt fear, except there were just a few times on a few hikes where I got like a wall, like we would be going, I kind of pushed a little too far. And then I got this feeling and it literally felt like a physical push, like, don't go past here. Like this is where
No.
you stop. This is where you don't come past here. I've had that a few times. And that's really it. I've never had anything super aggressive, and I guess I should count myself to be lucky. But I think that they know my intent. They know that I'm not there to do anything but respect them and learn about them. So, and I think that when you have that mindset, they know it and they're open to that too. You know.
That's true. Yeah. And a
Yeah.
lot of times people say they had an aggressive encounter, but if they're actually able to talk about it and they're still alive, to me,
Mhm.
that's, you know, if they really wanted you, if they really want whatever,
Yes.
there's there's nothing you can do about it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Nothing
I
you
heard
can do
prayer
about it.
does. I did hear prayer many times does help. So that kind of gives a key or a clue to what those are. I'm
Hmm.
not saying all of them are that way, but some of them seem to me not be able to resist against that. You know.
Hmm. Hmm. So you want to talk a little bit about some of the evidence that you've got, and you did send me some photos, so we can share some of those. Um, do you want me just to put some photos up, like one at a time, and when you can talk about them? Would
Yeah,
you like to do that?
yeah, we could do that.
Okay. All righty. Okay. And like I said, guys, he sent me some other photos, but I could only share so many in StreamYard. So I hope you guys can see these pretty good. That looks like a dog man to me.
That
It really
sure is.
does.
And I outlined where it's cloaking.
Mm-hmm.
That dog man is mostly cloaked except for the top part of its head.
Yeah. I mean, and you can see the ears and everything. It's It's crazy. So now, where did you catch this photo? Was this near your house? Was this someplace close?
Yes, this was right behind the house. I was heading down to the river to check it out, and I passed through a grove of some extremely tall ferns. So
Mm-hmm.
after I went through it, I stopped and I went to take a photo. So I kind of crouched down to get a nice view of the top of the ferns. And that's how I took the picture. I had no idea that that thing was behind me. And you come out of the woods and you go through this big belt of ferns. And then I stopped and turned around and took a picture. This thing was right in the path where I had just came out of the woods to go to cross the ferns. So it was definitely
Wow.
following.
So how tall do you think he was, this dog man?
With the way the tree structures and everything are, I would guesstimate between 8 and 10 feet.
Whoa. Whoa.
Yeah.
Now, have you ever had an actual dogman sighting, or have you just kind of like later on you find you see them in photos?
I've seen. I would have to guess it was a dog man running through the trees over here off to this
Mm-hmm.
side. And Primo Cry was out. We have a nice garden out here that we did. It's kind of funny. We did a garden in the woods, but along the logging road where you can get some sun, you know. She's
Uh-huh.
out there every day doing her thing, and she seen one step out of the tree line and it stood and she noticed it and was blown away. And then in a millisecond, it looked across the logging road and back to that fern area. And she said it was so fast that you could hardly keep up with it with your eyes. It was just a blur.
Wow.
So, I mean, she has some photos of them hanging out in the woods by the garden, just watching her. It is kind of weird that they watch us, you know.
The, so
Um,
the dog men are actually coming and watching you guys, not just Sasquatch.
I do have a photo of a Sasquatch that was watching me as well. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and and we had Sasquatch come in and kick us out of a bonfire once. I mean, we've had some interactions with them as well, but lately
Okay.
it's been a lot of dogmen.
Not a dog. And so you're not feeling any fear from them. They're not trying to do anything to you guys that you feel threatened by.
No, we haven't had that so far. You know, knock on wood. But like I
Hmm.
said earlier, you never know if you come across a bad one because they're just like people. There's a lot of nice people in the world, and then there's some
Hmm.
serial killers and messed up individuals, and that seems to be the same trait with these forest people. That's what I call all them different cryptids.
Hmm. Hmm.
So there's a high chance that that could happen to anyone at any point in time. So, like I said, you can get a feeling. You, everyone has a primal instinct where if something is real bad in your area or
Hmm.
about to happen, you get this gut feeling, and gut feelings you gotta listen to. That'll definitely let
Yes,
you know. But I
I
mean,
agree. I agree.
yeah,
I agree. You have to listen to that inner voice, the, intuition, whatever you want to call it, the Holy Spirit, whatever name you call it. There is definitely something in each one of us that we definitely are able to read the room, for lack of a better term, read the room and then act accordingly, for sure. Use
right.
discernment, and then, yeah. So you guys haven't had anything like slaps on your house, or have you had like maybe some of your, I don't know, maybe your dogs or your cats or anything like that disappear? In any issues with those kinds of things there?
Thank God we didn't have any pets disappear. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
we had a we had a blonde lab um, who I had out one night to use the bathroom, and she's always wanting to sniff out trails and stuff. It's hard to get her back in, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But was halfway through using the bathroom and something across the street roared like you wouldn't believe. And she she finished her job in microseconds and looked up the stairs and wanted to get in the house now. So I got her in and she ran into the bedroom and hid in the closet. I never seen her do that before. So there's that was definitely a bad one. I would
Wow. So other than
imagine.
that though, but you guys haven't had anything super like scared. Like they haven't tried to get into your house or anything like that.
No, no. If that was the case, I probably would be more seclusive than I am now and be
Yeah.
on guard most of the time. But we did have a bird feeder in front of the house, and we woke up one morning and the feeder was on the ground, and it's got a metal bottom, the tray where the seeds come out. That
Mm-hmm.
tray bent down where one of the openings to the hole for the seeds to come out. It was bent down there like something grabbed it and bent it down so it could get all the seeds out and eat it real easy. And it
Wow.
pulled it off. Yeah, it pulled it off of a wrought iron hook and bent it and busted a screw. And then there was a huge handprint on the side of the house, and then another one on the corner edge of the house. And those handprints stayed up there for a couple of years, rain, snow, whatever. And I heard that Bigfoot have a greasy film on their skin, on their hands, and
Yeah.
it's hard. You can't get that stuff off windows with on dish soap. I guess you got to use fire remover or something. But I
I've
believe
heard that.
if it,
Yeah.
if it was a yeah, if it was a bear that because we do have black bears, that's why I constantly keep an eye on what's going on because there's some big ones out here. And black bears are pretty unpredictable. Most of the time, they usually leave us, but you never know. But either way, there's no way that was a black bear that hit that bird feeder. They would have ripped it off, took it out in the woods, destroyed it to get the food. But something used their brains and just bent the lip down to where the seed would come out easy, and then left the
Interesting.
feeder right there, along
Interesting.
with the
So
hand. Yeah.
so do you guys have any like habituation sites? Do you do any gifting or anything like that there?
We have not done anything like that except one time because we go out and hunt for chaga mushrooms,
Mm-hmm.
and we went out to the woods about a mile away from here down that logging road and found some nice chaga, so we cut it down. But during the course of getting there, Primal Cry, my sweet love, she was driving and she saw a Bigfoot looking through the timber, and they locked eyes, and she even felt in her head that it was like, oh no, and it moved away to
Mm.
get out of sight. So I told her it's probably going to parallel us all the way down to where we're going to get the chaga, which was like a half mile down. And sure enough, when we got there, we got out and I would walk, scan. And then pretty soon I saw a dark shadow that was a head and shoulders and one arm up on a branch. And I told her it's right down there. So we hurried up and drug a ladder through the woods to that spot, climbed up there, cut the chaga down, and then we left a bag of tobacco, and I had a really cool looking rock with red stripes in it. And I stuck it in the bag, and we left it as an offering, for taking the chaga and going in his territory. When we were,
Nice.
yeah, when we were leaving the footpath that goes up there, I thought it was the game trail, but I think it's something else now. There's wood structures made out of live trees and dead trees that were bent and woven together right there. So for sure, that was an area of that Sasquatches. But here's the crazy part. A week later, because it was a Saturday, we got the chaga. The next following Saturday, I go outside and I had cut some birch discs from birchwood
Uh-huh.
about 10 inches around. And they were piled up in the front on the ground by the edge of the woods in front of the house. And I was looking at it and I noticed that there was a stick, something sticking out of it. And I went to look at it and it looked like someone took a stick and broke it and broke other sticks to where it looked like a human standing with both arms up in the air like this, and it was facing the house, and it was pressed into the bark. And I asked Primo if she did that, and she goes, no. So we were looking at it, and it was
Oh
hard
my,
to pull it out of the. It was hard to pull it out of the wood, and I could not push it back in there. And I don't even know how they got it in there without the stick breaking. That's a huge mystery. But apparently,
interesting.
I think that
Did you get a
that
photo?
squash.
Tell me you got photos.
I got a photo. I
Oh,
got a
good.
photo of that. So I'll send it to
So,
you later on Messenger.
yeah, yeah, please do. I'd love to see it. Yeah, I mean, I think that they respect what you did, obviously. I think they definitely showed you some respect. Like, you gave them an offering, like, that's awesome. You're showing them respect. You're like, okay, we took these and this is for you. And then they came and that's pretty awesome.
Well, you think about it too. They live out here in the woods, so it's like I went into their bedroom to take some chaga off of
Right.
one of their trees. So I had to
Yeah.
do something for respect,
Yeah, yeah. Now, are you part like Native American? Do you have Native American blood or anything
Yes,
like
I do.
that?
I'm supposedly there's confusion within the family. I've heard Blackfoot and Crow,
Mm-hmm.
which I think those two tribes kind of were against each other. And then recently I heard Cherokee, so I'm not really sure, but I do know that there was a full native in the family tree. I'm probably like an eighth of native blood.
Okay. Because I that's one of my theories. I mean, I don't know if it's true or not. It's just something that I have listening to people's encounters and listening to a lot of interviews and podcasts and things. It seems like people who do have Native American, heritage, they tend to appear more or have more encounters with the Sasquatch people and other cryptids as well. And I don't know if there's a connection there. I really don't. All I know is that it seems to be a theme, a running theme in my mind that the people that are having, positive encounters are generally people who have some sort of Native American background somehow, some way in their bloodline.
Well, when you do get into Native American lore, they did talk about communicating with them, having trades, trading
Mm-hmm.
goods with them and stuff. But I wouldn't, I could see the connection, but I also, because they did deal with those people back then. But I would imagine that it's not just like your heritage or anything. Like we were talking earlier, I think if you're of the right frame of mind, you're a positive
Mm-hmm.
person, you're doing good things with the earth and stuff like that, that they're more receptive to a person like that versus
Mm-hmm.
someone who, I mean, think about the type of people in the world and where the world's going nowadays. I could see where some people are actually getting attacked for those reasons,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let me just really quickly, I say hi to I know a bunch of people just came in a little bit ago, so I just want to like say hi to everybody. DA was here
Oh,
for
that's
a few.
good.
Yeah, DA Roberts was in for a minute. The Cryptid Huntress, Jessica Jones, and Ruger Ridge slipped in here at some point. I saw him. And Hilton. Hi, Hilton. Let's see. Ida. Hi, Ida. Walathis. Overbuilt Automotive. I think is that one of your friends?
Yeah, I know. I see him in chat.
Yeah.
Jessica,
Okay.
pretty cool too.
Yeah, Jess. I love Jess. Jessica's like the bomb. Sean. Hi,
Yeah.
Sean.
John, yeah.
Yeah, who else? Let's see. Did I miss anybody? If I missed anybody, I am really, really sorry. Sometimes I just try to focus on my guest and my apologies. And I think I saw Supernatural Spectrum. Yep. Hey, Matt. And let's see who else. Cassie. Hi, Cassie. I don't know if you're still here or not, but I hope you are. I love you. Um, so, and oh, here's one I miss. Carrie DL44. Hi, Carrie. Um, so let's see. Let me go pull up a couple more of your photos that you sent me. Let's see.
All right.
Okay. Let's see what we got going on here. Okay, so where did it go? All right, so I have this one. And to me, when I saw this photo, I see a couple of shadows back there. Like I see one to the right, and then I see one that's kind of like dead center there in the middle. And there looks
Yep.
like there's something over to the left peeking out of like a smaller one peeking out of behind a tree to the left.
Yep. Yeah, there's about four entities in there. And the one peeking around the tree, that's a little DM, little
Yeah,
dog man.
yeah, it's little. You can tell that it's compare, if you were to compare the other two, or I only see three figures, but if I was to compare that one to it's very tiny. It is very small.
Hmm. I also actually have a photo of a much smaller one than that. So
Now I have, go ahead.
one thing to know about that is that little one there in the photo, that photo was taken in April. So if we're trying to understand birthing cycles of these
Mhm.
dogmen, there
Uh-huh.
is a one there, and it's in April. But a much smaller one I have a photo of was in June as well. So now I'm getting an understanding that they have um, children as early as spring and all the way up till June. I don't know if they keep reproducing after June, but that's the evidence I have so far. So that's interesting information to know.
That's very interesting. So do you think that so do they all stay together? Are they all together in a family unit, or do they kind of like grow up and then leave? Like what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I would say that because of looking for a mate once you get older and things, I do believe that they do split off. I'm not sure
Mhm.
if they have communications afterwards. They may or may not. There's so much that we don't know about these forest people, but
Right.
that's one of the things that I'm getting into because with just these photos, I'm starting to get a picture of how certain things work with them, you know.
Yeah. Now I did one of the photos you sent me, I believe is uh it's from, I think it's an enlargement from that photo I just showed, isn't it?
Yeah, yes, it is, and that's the
Okay.
one that was off to the right. That's a dog man that was crouching down, and if you could see to its right or to its left, whatever, there's
Mm-hmm.
a hand that's on a tree that it's holding. You could see the individual fingers, not
Yeah.
paws. And that
It
one, I
was,
had this feeling, this gut feeling that that was a female dog man, and it would stand the reason why a juvenile was next to it.
yeah, you're right. We have a question from Rothian Fairmoon. Question for Dark Woods. At this time, have you gained any idea where your property sits with these cryptids? A trail, a nesting area, or whatnot?
The cryptids seem to come and go, but where I took that photo, there's a marshy area there, and
Mm-hmm.
that's where I've gained a lot of my evidence. So they seem to frequent that area, and that would be about 10 minutes behind the house.
Is that an area that has a lot of like, is it a lot of food source there or water or?
Yeah, the river is about 5 minutes from there. There's tons of deer and porcupine and all
Mm-hmm.
kinds of animals out here. So this is a primo area. Up here, there's a whole bunch of lakes, a lot of fish, a lot of big fish. It's a
Mm-hmm.
prime habitat, you know. It's just that the
Oh,
winters get really harsh up here. A lot of
wow.
deep snow, negative 30 to 50 degrees. I want to mention too, Rothian, the guy you were talking about in chat.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
He's a really good remote viewer. So if you ever get a chance to talk with him, that'll be an interesting talk for sure. But
Absolutely.
yeah,
Rothian, reach out to me on Facebook. Reach out to me. Reach out to me. Um, yeah, now this photo is crazy interesting. I mean, you can definitely see the faces in this one.
yes.
This was
Now
very interesting.
this is a long-winded explanation, but the bottom line on this, when I took that photo of that group with the little dog man and the big dog man, there's also another dog man and a Bigfoot in that photo. So people who talk about how dogman and Bigfoot don't hang out together, they actually do. And
Mhm.
the other most bizarre, interesting aspect about that photo is that photo, when I knew something, because it was a knowing, just like you said, it wasn't mind speak, it was a deliberate knowing. And I tried to deny it and it came back stronger that something was over
Mhm.
there. I wasn't sure what it was, but I meandered around, pretend like I didn't see them. I never looked directly at them. I kept them in my peripheral. And there was a set of trees. I was looking for landmark structures that I could reference to so that I can come back later on and look for tracks.
Right.
So when I took this photo, I went back out there later because I went home and I looked at what I caught and I couldn't believe the entities I found on it. So when I went back to look for that area doesn't exist. There's no woods that look like that back there. And I know everything about that section of woods. I know all the trees, what kind of trees there are, trees laying down, the whole landscape, bushes, everything. I can't
Mhm.
find nothing. I cannot find nothing back there that looks like that photo. So
Wow.
I have an idea because you know Robin.
Yes. Of course I
She
do.
told me, yes, she told me that there's floating portals back here, and there's an anchored portal across the street where I heard some pretty bizarre stuff. But I
Wow.
believe that those creatures and a section of woods that they were in was portaled into our existence because what other explanation could give me that I cannot find that patch of woods there? And there's a lot of distinct landmarks in that photo,
Mhm.
but there's nothing back there. Like I went 20 different times, different lightings, everything, cannot find those woods whatsoever. So that crazy photo that you posted up there, I
Mhm.
believe shows what an alternate reality adjacent to ours may look like. I heard a lot of times that it's very similar to ours, but there's some differences. And in that photo, I found like
I'll put it back
30
up.
different kinds. Yeah, there you go. I found like 30 different kinds of faces, just bizarre faces. And to me, they kind of look, I don't know, kind of dark, you know? But
Yeah, like
like,
the one at the bottom, like the one at
yeah,
the bottom looks very like evil. Like
it
it
does.
looks like demonic. The one above it to me
Looks
looks
like a
kind
tree
of,
stump.
huh?
It looks like a tree stump with a
Yeah, like
tree face and a
yeah, but you
nose.
can see you can see the eyes, you can see the nose, you can see it looks
Yep.
like the top of the lip, and it even looks like it has like a little conical head, like that one
Hmm.
kind of looks like a Sasquatch. Weird. That's a crazy photo.
Yeah, and I never seen nothing like that before. And I know that's not pareidolia because those faces are super crisp. You know,
Mhm.
pareidolia can kind of look like a face and kind of maybe something else, but those are exact faces.
Very amazing. Like that's super.
Well, it's
Wow.
weird because, you know, I'm only saying that that's what it is. There's
Mhm.
no scientific instruments that can let me know that that is exactly what happened, but
Right.
that's the best that I could go off of. And some of the evidence in the photo really contributes to an alternate reality.
I love Robin, and
She's a sweetheart.
Yeah, and she blows my mind. She blows my mind, you know?
She blew my mind a few times too.
Yeah, she blows my mind, and she allowed me, when I met her, I felt like I finally can actually just say, yeah, I believe the same thing and I don't feel crazy anymore. You know what I mean? Like, it just, when I heard her story for the first time I saw her, she was on Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott, and I just was like, she's amazing, and she has so much information, and and she tells it like it is, and I love her. And yeah, she's very, she knows, like, she has a lot of knowing and a lot of information from working with them for so many years, so it's like I trust
And
her.
yeah, I would too. She's
Yeah,
told me things that I know I told nobody. She knows it, and
yeah,
that's what gave me the clue. She knows exactly what she's doing,
yeah.
and she helps out a lot of people. That lady is just constantly busy. I don't see how she has
Hmm.
time for herself because she's got that big heart and she's always
I
helping as many
know.
people out as she could ever do. Yeah,
I
God
know.
bless someone like hers in this world.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually have, I've been watching behind you. I haven't seen nothing yet,
Okay. Yeah.
but
You,
I'm watching your six.
if
Okay.
anyone in chat, yeah, sees any eye shine, let me know.
Exactly. Exactly. Listen, I've had people, say to me like, "Hey, during your live, I saw a shadow behind you," or like, I've had that happen
Oh
a few
wow.
times. Yeah, a few times. So like, I've had some craziness. Okay, so I want this one. I love this photo, and I hope everybody else does too. Talk about this photo,
Oh, okay.
please.
Let me get my spectacles on. Okay, yeah. So that photo to me, I believe that's a Dogman handprint that was on the ground. You can see the comparison of the size with the lighter next to it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've had that picture up before, and some people say, well, that could be a bear, but those are not claw marks that are dug into the ground. If you actually look at the photo closely, maybe zoom in on it or something, you can see where the fingers are and they squish together slightly. So it rose the ground up between the fingers, which
I can.
look like claw marks, but they're not.
Mm-hmm.
They were up. So a bear can't do that with its claws because those are pretty long fingers. So I'm very convinced that that's a Dogman handprint. Um, that because up here there's a lot of pine needles and all kinds of other stuff, so finding bare ground is kind of rare. And
Mm-hmm.
fortunately, I noticed that one on back there where I do a lot of my research and took a photo of it. So
No, I think it's super interesting, and you can see that, like, if you put your hand down, like there was like the dirt like up above the, yeah. Now, was this um like very wet soil at the time it happened, do you think, or was it just kind of like loose dirt that it just kind of, what kind
that
of
would
like,
be that would be loose sand.
mm,
There's dirt is kind of rare here unless you dig in the woods because of all the decay from the leaves and whatnot.
uh-huh,
But that's definitely sand. And
okay,
weird too, it's not like sand on the beach. A lot of the sand out here is kind of hard. You could
yeah,
sometimes under certain conditions you won't leave a footprint, but
mm-hmm.
that day it happened to be just right in order to catch a print.
Yeah, that's interesting. That, I love that photo. That's pretty killer. Okay.
I'm glad you like
Yeah, I like that one. All right. This next photo kind of freaked me out a little bit because when I saw the size of this sucker,
it. Oh yeah.
I
Now
don't know.
that's my That's a photo that I took. I initially thought it was 23 inches long, but I had it on another show, and someone who was really good at tracking informed me that that footprint goes back a little bit more. So he was thinking it was around 26 inches long.
That's crazy. Like crazy. 26 inches long.
Yeah, that's like a
That's a
12 to
big boy.
14 foot. Yeah, he's huge. And I believe I have a photo of what made that print. I don't know if you can show it later on, but if you do, we'll talk about that. But now this print, like I said, there's a logging road and they
Mm-hmm.
cleared a small section of trees back there. So some of the big equipment that went through left some 2 foot ruts in the ground. This photo is actually, this print was taken on the side edge. It's like a 45-degree edge of a tire rut. So
Mm-hmm.
you can tell because near the tape measure is where the toes are, and you can see how they're curled, and it looked like it was sliding a little bit. But
Mm-hmm.
what's really interesting is all around that footprint, you could see dead plant matter, and whatever stepped there, a lot of plant matter stuck to the bottom of its foot. But right in
Mm-hmm.
the center, you can see a strip of plant matter there. That's where the mid tarsal break of
That's
the
so
foot
big.
hits. Yep, where the bend is on that foot. And it didn't pick up any of the plant matter. So there's a lot of key evidence in that footprint that told me exactly what it came from.
So
Um,
did you see any hair or anything like that in the like,
no,
no?
no, it would have to be in the woods because there is no trees around in that area. It's kind of like a little
Yeah.
open area. Um,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it was quite a good find. That was the very first footprint that I actually found.
That is one big boy.
It
Or
sure is.
or girl. Or girl.
Girl, you never know.
um Now I wanted to. Those were all that those were the only photos that I could get onto Streamyard tonight. But
Oh, that's good.
your evidence, those, it's really amazing. Like, and I it. So now, are you finding anything else out there? Are you finding hair? Are you finding DNA? Or you know, are you trying to get like some fingerprints or things like that? Like, have you been trying to do those kinds of things in your research to try to get more definitive proof?
Well, first off, DNA is way outside my price range. And then on top of that, they're only going to tell you that, part of it's female, um,
Mm-hmm.
part of it's whatever. Like if it's a DM, it'd be canine. If it's a Bigfoot, it could be primate. And then the other is unknown because there's no data bank to compare it against
Right.
for the unknown part.
I agree.
So
Yeah.
to me, it's kind of a waste of time to mess with the evidence part. I wouldn't mind getting some hair samples because I've seen from other people on the show that they shine flashlights on it, different colors, and you can get it
Mm-hmm.
to where it's almost invisible. Did not know this, but if you light it on fire, it doesn't burn, and and then it has a lot of strength versus regular hair. So it does have some interesting properties, and I would be interested in finding hair samples, but
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to find that in like trees or whatever. And there's like a lot of trees out here. It'd be kind of like finding a needle in a haystack, but you never know. I might get lucky.
Yeah. Yeah. We found well, my son, I researched with my son. His channel is called Supernatural Spectrum, and he and well, he found some hair, and
Oh,
it was interesting because it was all different colors, but the
yeah.
main, like the majority of the hair that he found was very clear, like clear, like
Hmm.
white. Um, and then some of it would be, kind of like all different colors. Like it would be, it'd be like dark brown, and then turning like a little red, and then a little clear. Like it was all different colors. And then most recently, we were at one of our sites and that we go to, and we had rocks thrown at us. They
Yeah,
just
I
they
had
were
that too.
Yeah, I mean, and I do not feel like it was an act of aggression. It was just we overstayed our welcome,
Was
and
it
it was
Little Rock?
well, they started with little ones. They started with little pebbles, like
That's how
there
it
were
starts.
five. Yeah, there were five rocks in total, and they kept getting larger as we went. The first couple were pebbles, and then another one was a little bit bigger. Like they just got a little bit bigger. So
Yeah.
on rock number 4, it was about that big,
Yep.
and we went to pick it up, and my son looked at it, and it had a hair on it, and it was
Wow.
white. It was white, clear, absolutely completely clear. And then at the very end, it was almost as if it was like a little circle. It was like circle, 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 and then it came down and attached to the rock. So it was weird. It looked like a little antenna almost sitting there right there on the rock.
Really? Yeah, I never
Yeah.
heard of that. That's interesting.
Yeah, it was really cool. And then, and then I started feeling, like I told them, I'm like, listen, I'm feeling major anxiety. It's not my
Yep.
anxiety, it's their anxiety. We've stayed too long, and let's hit it. Let's get out of here. So they did throw one more rock as we were kind of packing up and getting ready to go, that was larger, but again, they weren't trying to hit us. And that was the
Yeah.
key thing. Yeah, they were just saying like, "Hey, we've had enough of you. Can you leave, please?" You know,
They're at
it,
least polite enough to throw small rocks at first, and then after you didn't get the hit, they started going a little bigger. That was definitely a
yeah,
sign that they wanted you to leave.
yeah. They were done with us. They were done with us.
I had
Um,
a totally different experience with rock throwing because I'll just throw this out real quick. I was
sure.
working on my truck and I was getting hell bent real mad because it wasn't working out, you know.
Uh huh.
So when I get mad, I get like seeing red mad, and it's not good for a person to do that. But I was pretty wrapped up and bent because of how things are going with the truck. And that's when little rocks started coming from way up high, higher than the trees, down through the leaves, and I could hear it and they'd land. And I'm
Wow.
like, is that for real? And 30 seconds or 3 seconds, 3 seconds later, another one and another one. So, ultimately it made me forget the truck and I was curious what was going on with that. And
Hmm.
I believe that they were upset because I was being negative, being upset with what was happening, and they actually changed my view of thinking.
Hmm.
Um, so the ones that hang around here, we've always had positive reactions with and stuff, nothing negative. There's been so many times with photos or just seeing them that they could definitely do something bad, but they never did. And I think they didn't
Interesting.
like I was so bent out of shape, and they tried to change that course, which they did because of my curiosity. So I found
Interesting.
that really interesting.
Yeah, that's cool. That is really cool. They
Yeah,
were kind of like, "Hey, don't get so frustrated. Calm down, man. Take it down a
yeah,
notch."
and one thing too, they have a crazy sense of humor.
They
It's just
do.
like you can't believe some of the things they do,
They do.
and
They
they
are
do. And
funny. They are
they,
very funny. I
they're
will say,
highly intelligent.
yeah. I mean, I'm not going to go into major detail, but I will. Maybe someday on some show I will. But I've been having my own kind of communication with a couple of them,
Awesome.
and it's interesting because one of them is so funny, and just like it's like I've So I know everybody, y'all are gonna think I'm crazy, but I'm not. I'm not.
No.
But it's like when I how I know for a fact when I'm dealing with this particular Sasquatch, I how I know it's that particular Sasquatch is because of the sense of humor. There's another one that I have contact with, but that particular one is not as fun. They're not funny. This one's funny. It's hilarious. Like there was something I was gonna bring to just so everybody knows, I do not feed Sasquatch. Okay, I don't take food to Sasquatch, but
Good.
I will kind of take things like like marbles or I'll take some stuff. And it was funny because I thought was going through some of my stuff. I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm going to take this, and it was like it was like I stopped in my tracks and I went to go like I went to go walk down my stairs and go downstairs and literally stopped dead in my tracks and they were like, no, that's not going to work. Like, nope, that's not working. That's not going to work for us. Mm-mm. And it was just this hilarious, but it was funny. It was really funny. I'm sorry. It's a female, and she is
Ah,
hilarious. She's hilarious. She's funny as hell. And you can hear the tone. I can like tell, like in her energy, that very like humorous tone that, they find us
yeah,
hilarious. They find us
they
ridiculous
do.
sometimes. You know, it's funny.
There was one time I was out at we have a bonfire ring about 100 yards away from the house, deep in the woods, and I was trying to get a fire lit, and it wouldn't light for nothing. And so I was down on my hands and knees blowing embers for a
Mm-hmm.
long time, and then all of a sudden it took off. And I'm like, awesome. So I went and I sat down in my chair and I started to roll a cigarette. And I swear to you, about a foot behind my head, sound like someone with 5 foot wide hands just did this massive clap. It was like pow, pow, pow. And
Wow.
after the second clap, it registered in my head, and I jumped out of my chair. I spilled all my tobacco, and I spun around, and I hit my headlamp, and I couldn't see nothing. But
Oh my
I know it was them, and there's some juveniles that come around, and they
Mhm,
must have thought it was funny. Maybe they were clapping because I finally got the fire started, but they
mhm.
literally almost scared the pants off of me. So
Jeez.
after a while, I had to laugh at that because that was kind of funny. So
So
their
do
sense
you
of humor is pretty weird sometimes, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah. So let me ask you this. Do you think that wood knocks are actual wood knocks? Do you think that they're like I've heard some people describe them as maybe they're clapping their hands or maybe they're making a popping sound with their mouth. Do you have an opinion on that in your research? Have you given any thought
I,
to that?
I think that it's all the above because of all the research that I did,
Uh-huh.
some of the research to get little nuggets of information.
Uh-huh.
I've heard that, 'cause you know how powerful they are. I heard they could slap the side of a tree and create that sound,
Just with
um,
their
uh,
hand.
just with their hand. And
Mhm.
then I've also heard that they'll sometimes chomp on their teeth, and that'll make a loud wood sound, like a wood crack sound too.
Mhm.
So could be a variety of different ways that they do it, depending on the situation.
Wow.
I have some. I have some. I think it's. I posted it. It's deep on my wall on Facebook. But I posted. It was at nighttime, and you could barely hear me say, "I see something down there." And then I had two wood knocks right off to the side of me, and then two answer right in front of me, and they're crystal clear. You could hear brush that was falling out of the tree from the wood.
Wow. Wow.
Knock.
So this is the part where I ask the weird questions.
Weird is welcome.
I want it like, okay, so have you seen, have you been able to see any orbs or lights or things like that in the woods that you couldn't explain, and you knew there was nobody down there or in there, and yet you saw lights. And have you gotten to see anything like that?
Yes, I actually did. Back in, I think March was the last time we seen one.
Mm-hmm.
And just to let people know, like where I live, I have Woods 360 up against the house. Nearest store to go, major grocery shopping is like 35, 40 minutes away. So out here, what's weird, because I moved up here in 2019 from Northern Illinois, and down in Illinois, you'd watch people be out at night and stuff, you know. Up
Mm-hmm.
here, nobody goes out. I live in the Chickamaguan National Forest, and no one's going to be walking around in the woods at night in their right frame of mind. I've never seen it. Plus, there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of marshlands and forest islands in the marshlands. Some of the marshes you could step into, you'll go straight under, you know, and plants will clog your way of getting out and you'll just drown. But
Wow.
yeah, so it's very, very wild up here. But I was out here once and I saw a light in the woods bobbing around, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's one of those orbs, because I had to confirm, make sure it wasn't someone with a flashlight. You know what a flashlight looks like. You know, there's like a
Yeah.
cone of light that comes out. This was just a specific ball. So I immediately texted Primo Area, who was in the house. I told her to come out here. You got to check this out. So she came out and she actually got to witness it. And we watched this for about 20 to 30 minutes. It was bobbing around in the woods, and the ball was like a silver with a slight blue tint, like a plasma ball. Um,
Wow.
and sparks were shooting off of it, which was weird, but it wasn't like sparks off a sparkler. It was like little chips of itself falling away and disappearing about a couple of inches away from the ball. And I tried to videotape it and it wouldn't show up on my cell phone. So
Wow.
I had some night vision goggles that I broke out because it was there for 20, 30 minutes. So I grabbed those goggles and I tried to view it with that because I could actually record on that as well. And it never showed up on my night vision goggles too. So it's kind of frustrating because I wanted to, you know, show people that this is what's going on, and I
Yeah.
couldn't get any video of it. But I ended up getting some binoculars and I looked at it with those, and it was just the craziest. To me, I could watch or see Bigfoot and Dogman and whatever, but watching that kind of was creepy to me. And but as it's going through the woods, you could see it light up bases of trees and branches. You can see branches in front of it that are dark as it's moving. So and it
Wow.
moved, yeah, it moved back about 100 feet in the woods, and then it come bobbing back around again. It was
Mm-hmm.
about 6 feet off the ground. It was very interesting.
Wow. And you couldn't get it to show up on anything other than just like your naked eyes. But you could see it through the
Right,
binoculars, right?
right.
So when you were
So I
so
guess
when so
technical
when you
devices,
uh
they may have did something with it. I don't know.
hmm.
But for some reason, it wouldn't show up, and I don't recall ever seeing orbs, someone recording orbs in the woods before. So maybe there's something about that.
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah. Well, okay, now was this somewhere near the portal that Robin said that you guys have there? Or no, she said one of them is kind of like it moves around, I guess.
Yeah, we have floating portals that are not there, and then they appear
Mhm.
in different areas and stuff like that. I did a lot of research on portals, and it's highly possible. Scientists have already discovered that there are actual portals. Um,
Cool.
yeah.
Brown Dwarf actually says, he says that he says my FLIR won't pick up the orbs. So his FLIR doesn't pick up
Oh,
orbs either.
wow. So even flare, yeah. That's
Yeah.
good to know.
See,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, see, that's why I love these kinds of shows when we can actually
Yeah,
have like open discussions and everybody's kind of like, hey, we're seeing this and finding this here and there, and I love that. I love that
I
because we
love
all
that
just,
too.
we can just all learn from each other, and that's so important, so important.
That's why I
Um,
can't thank you enough for having me on your show.
No, yeah, I was hoping I was wanting to actually book you a little later on in September, but then I was like earlier in the week, I was like, no, no, I'm going to have him on the beginning of September, and then all week long my week was shit. It was just utter shit. And I didn't get to reach out to you until a little late, but but I'm so glad that you came on. I really am. I'm so appreciative of your time, and I admire what you do, and I admire the lifestyle that you live, I'm very blessed, to have met you and to be able to share,
Yeah.
information. And thank you so much for coming on.
Well, thank
We
you for having
are,
me.
yeah, we're like an hour and 5 minutes. So do you feel like going a little longer?
It's up to you. Whatever you'd like. If you want to talk more information, or if you want to cut it now, that's fine by me.
All right. I want to go a little bit deeper. So what about UFOs? Do you guys ever see UFOs out there?
No, but
Anything interesting?
I haven't seen any UFOs.
Mhm.
When you think about where I live, there's big, massive, tall trees. So getting any type of open space in the sky is kind of hard, except for right next to the house. So I've seen a lot of different satellites and things. You can see a lot of stars up here at night too, which is really cool. But
But you
I
haven't
haven't.
seen any, no
No, nothing,
UFOs.
nothing conclusive or anything. But Robin
Mhm.
did say to me that I've had ET contact most of my life, that they're around most of my life. And I did have a UFO scenario back when I was a kid,
Mhm.
around 7 or 8 years old. That was kind of freaky. So, but other than that, I haven't had anything up here. But I do
Now,
believe that there's a connection with the UFOs and all this stuff going on.
yeah. Gary Spike Sr. just wants to tell you, he says, thanks, Dark Woods, for all the good information. So he wanted to thank you for that.
Hey,
So,
thanks a lot, Gary, for watching.
so talking about, so this is the interesting thing because I hear a lot of people, how there's all these different camps, right? There's flesh
Oh
and
yeah.
blood and the woo and the Nephilim so here's my question for you. So when you're out there, you're on your property, nobody else around, and you're having all of these different experiences and you're contributing them to being either Sasquatch or Dogman, more so Dogman than Sasquatch, but both. You are having interactions with both. Are you also coming in contact or in your research, in your audio files, are you coming up and finding things like EVPs or voices or ghosts or paranormal, anything like that?
Um, I would consider the orb paranormal to an extent. Uh, I do have a recording because I came outside and with my ears, I heard a lot of things howling and screaming that are very unnatural. And it's actually a clear recording. But
Mm-hmm.
later, when I went to listen to it on my phone, you can hear there's an RF disturbance in it. There's a buzzing sound going on. And I
Hmm.
believe whatever was doing that was trying to project an infrasound or some type of electromagnetic wave, maybe that they can create that was trying to cancel my phone out. And apparently they were just out of range, but enough to create a buzzing. And you can hear the buzzing go for a while and then it cuts out and you can hear the audio clear for a second. Then it comes back stronger. And then towards the end, it goes really strong and then the video ended. So I do
Wow.
have that.
But you heard the buzzing with your naked ear, right? Or you only heard it on the.
I only heard it on the recording,
on the
and
recorder.
I had no idea that that was happening while I was recording.
Wow. That's really weird. That's interesting. And it only happened the one time.
Yeah, that one time.
Huh.
But you know,
Because
there's some weird things too. Like a lot of times I record, I have a protocol. When I walk out the house, I turn my camera to record because a
mhm,
lot of times I miss stuff that I wasn't ready for. So I turn it on right before I go out the door in case something happens because you never know when stuff happens.
right.
But sometimes when nothing's going on, I listen and you can hear natural sounds of the woods. When there is some weird things going on out there, there's a strange sound that I keep getting in my audio that sounds like a rattling sound that's getting stuck through a straw. I hear that a lot. And I find
Hmm.
that very interesting because when nothing's happening outside and I got the audio going, I don't hear that sound. So
Oh,
they are like Bigfoot, I do know are high vibrational creatures for them to be able
yes. I believe
to
that.
go through dimensions and things. So maybe that aspect of it gets picked up on the audio as well.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a really good point. Huh. Yeah, wow, that's a little puzzling. I also heard a lot of people in their encounters describe a metal sound, almost like a car
Oh
door
yeah.
slamming. Have you
Yep.
ever heard that?
I've heard two times out here, and like I said, there's people aren't running around in the woods at night. There's no, except for maybe a few houses way down the road where there might be some metal, but I heard right in the backyard one time where it sounded like uh, something was dragging a 10 by 10-foot section of siding, metal siding off a house, dragging it through the woods. You ever like pick up a big sheet of metal and it makes that warping sound when you shake it or you hit it with something like whoop, 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 like that? I've heard those kind of metallic sounds back here. And I came to the conclusion because like I said, I did a lot of armchair researching because sometimes you'll find gold nuggets or things you can compare with your own experiences. And a lot of times before people see cryptids like Bigfoot or Dogman, they'll
Hmm.
hear a metal sound. And I've heard where people said that it sounded like bullets going through metal. B. Moss gives a good description on how it sounds like one of those commercial dumpsters rolling across a parking lot sound with the metal vibrating.
Hmm.
Uh, even was that Roger Moorhead or something Moorhead? He
Yeah.
had mentioned about metallic sounds in the wood as well. So the only
Yeah.
thing that
Yeah.
I can think that that is a portal opening or closing. Because when you think about lightning,
Hmm.
it's a natural electrical energy in the sky. When it
Yeah.
strikes, it heats up those air molecules, and the air molecules separate, and then they come back really fast, and they make the thunder sound, and the air rushing back together. So, if I would imagine energy would be used to open portals or close portals, and I'm convinced at this stage that those metallic sounds that have no reason for being in the woods
Hmm.
have to have something to do with a portal opening or closing. Because I've heard too many times in people's accounts that they heard similar things. And then all of a sudden there's a cryptid there.
Right. Interesting. Wow. Huh. Yeah, because I've heard it. I've heard the description a few times on Encounter, like some of the YouTube channels that are like they just do encounters. Um, and then I've seen, a lot of people do interviews and other people to talk about that I just can't. It's weird to me because, like you said, there's what is out there in the woods that could make a metallic type of sound. I mean, okay, a wood knock. a wood knock, that would be, you know what I mean? A woodpecker, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, a wood knock, that's kind of like in the environment, that goes with the environment, that type of thing. But as far as like a metal or a metallic sound or slamming of a metal door when there's no metal anywhere to be found, it's
No,
very
that's
interesting.
it is crazy. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, I think I actually had recorded that once, and back
Hmm.
then I had no clue what it was, so I erased the recording. I
Of
wish that
course,
never
right?
happened. Yeah,
You had
but
no
now,
reference for it at that time, and now you're like, oh,
no.
darn
Yeah,
it.
yeah, that's how it works in this field, you know. So it's smart just to keep things that you question, because later on you might find
Yeah.
out that's what it is.
Yeah, exactly. The context. Sometimes we don't know the context until much later, Like I
That's
get it.
true.
I get it. I get it. And then, I also cuz excuse me. Okay, so we talked a little bit like right before the show started. So, can you talk about the fae you encountered?
Yeah, there was one time I encountered something strange that I would have to chalk up as the Fae.
Mhm.
And like I was telling you earlier, we have a lot of hummingbirds here. We have a feeder. They feed out of our hands. I had a hummingbird feed out of a canister that I had on my hat. That was kind of cool. But
Aw.
yeah, I love nature. But um, so it was a month after all the hummingbirds left because winter's coming and they migrate down south. So I know there's no hummingbirds at all up here. And I was coming home from work, and the driveway that we have, if you go straight, you'll go down that logging road where I get a lot of evidence. But you go down it a little bit and you turn into our driveway. So I pulled into the driveway to that logging road part, and I
Mhm.
have a trail cam set way down uh, the logging road off to the side of the road on a tree. When I pulled in, I see this thing flying around. It flew just like a hummingbird. It had a wingspan of like a foot wide, which I don't know of any hummingbird that's that big. And the body was about 8 inches long, and it looked like a wrinkled up cucumber. And it was flying around the game trail cam. And I'm like, oh my God, what the heck is that? And after a while, I think it realized I was parked on the driveway looking at it. So then it took off and flew away just like a hummingbird into the woods.
That's so
And
crazy.
it is crazy. And I thought for sure I got an image of it on the game show cam. But when I checked it, there was nothing on there. So either
Mhm.
it didn't show up on it or it flew right outside of where it was, the camera was. But it was definitely checking it out.
So do you have a lot of trail cams that you do put out, trying to catch evidence
Yeah,
around the property?
I did that for years. A lot of times they know trail cams, they can see that infrared. When I use my night vision goggles and I go up to my trail cam, it's like a
Hmm.
massive bright spotlight when the IR lights come on. So they could definitely see that. A lot of natural animals here that, especially at night, that move around at night that can see an infrared.
Hmm.
So plus they could smell the camera, all the plastic stuff, whatever. So they know how to avoid them. I do have one video. It's like 30 videos on a trail cam, and four of them had where I could tell they were messing with it with infrasound because my colored videos would all of a sudden turn black and white or green and yellow. It would flicker back and forth like that several different times. And then later on, it'd be
Mm.
clear. And all the ones before and after are clear. So I know it's not a camera glitch. And I have had cameras out for many years and I've never experienced it on there. So I was thinking that because I know there's some younger dogmen out here, maybe they're learning how to use infrasound or whatever they do
Mm.
to cameras to stop or whatnot. But I would say within the last month, I actually stopped putting cameras out. Um, Hunting season's coming up, so I actually put the thought out into the woods that hey, I'm putting up cameras just for hunting, not for you guys, because like I said, I want to work on getting some contact. I believe I missed a chance at contact, but I know they're probably gonna, and especially according to Robin, they do want to contact with me. So I'm gonna see if I could do that. And out of respect, I'm not gonna try to videotape them anymore or catch them on video with the game show.
Yeah.
So
And I'm grinning because my son and I are, we've researched together, and yeah, we're kind of the same way. We don't go out every single time with the intention of trying to record something. A lot of times
yeah,
we go out, we don't even take, we don't take audio recorders sometimes, we don't take cameras, we don't take, we just go out for the day and enjoy the day. And if they are open to and an interaction with us, then that's fantastic. And if they're not, it's okay, because we're still getting grounded and we're out in nature. And that is so much what I crave every day. Like, i went to my
yeah,
favorite I went to my favorite nursery today, and I cannot tell you how that it's a really huge nursery of all of they have so many different types of plants. It's gigantic, this place. And I don't even buy anything. I just go there and I walk around, walk around, feel the flowers, smell the flowers, touch the plants. Like, it's crazy. I know that sounds nuts, but that's what I do. I do that on purpose. I want to go there, and I want to, I need to, when I feel I need to be grounded and I need to feel that nature, that connection. Yeah,
yep.
that's what I do. So,
There's nothing
yeah,
crazy about that.
yeah. So if you got, yeah, so that's just, it's just something that I just feel drawn that I need to do, because I don't get out enough. I really, really, really don't. Here it's too, we got to kind of drive a little ways to go anywhere to get into nature. And I hope I can change that sometime in my lifetime. I really don't want to die in a concrete jungle. I really, really don't.
Yeah, well,
So,
with the way times are going right now, it's probably good to get away from bigger cities and stuff.
yeah. Well, we have some investigations, my son and I. We've got some stuff upcoming in the fall, and so it's going to be interesting. We've got some things we're doing, and because down here in South Florida, you just can't research in the summer. It's too hot. It's too muggy. It's
Yeah,
miserable. It's
you guys got a
miserable.
lot of dangerous natural critters down there too. I used to live in Florida for a spell.
Yeah. Where were you at?
I lived in St. Petersburg, Miami,
Hmm.
and Homestead.
Okay. So you know the difference between Miami, and St. Petersburg. Huge difference, but
Yeah,
night and
huge,
day, right?
huge. Yeah, huge, way different.
Yeah,
And
night
this
and
was
day.
back in the '70s, so it was way different then.
Yeah. There's definitely a lot of things here that you kind of need to educate yourself. And that's, before you go out there and go into the Everglades or go into the woods, because down here that's pretty much what we have here is Everglades. And you
Yeah,
have to be super careful. You got to know what you're doing. Invest in some snake boots. Definitely don't go
yeah.
anywhere down here without your snake boots. I think mine were like, I don't even know, they were like almost $200. Like,
No, wow.
yeah, because they're just not, you have to be careful because not all snake boots are made the same. And
Yeah.
so you have to,
And it's
so
a small price to pay to save your life. It's well
yeah.
worth it.
Yeah, that's really the only thing I have. I mean, that I personally really, I wanted to definitely have is a pair of really good snake boots, and the reason being because I don't want to worry about where I'm stepping. I don't want
Yeah,
to have to be constantly looking at the ground when I really want to
yeah.
have my eyes up. You know, so it
That would
was
be
a
hard to read things when you got to constantly
yeah,
look where you're.
yeah.
But
That's
you gotta
that's
look.
the.
You gotta look for them gators, though. they, they can
But
come out real.
But I tell everybody all the time, I'm like, honestly, they're not as dangerous as everybody thinks. Like, if it's mating season or if it's a female who has babies, those are the only two times that you need to be super, super, super careful. Pretty much the rest of the time, they don't care. They don't care you're there. They're not even looking at you. Really. They're seriously, they're
I heard
not as
I heard you guys had black cannon down there and salt crotch. Those are pretty
yeah.
aggressive.
Well, Cayman, Cayman are interesting because, you know, eye shine, right? So
Mm-hmm.
gator eye shine, regular just American gator, their eye shine is like red, right? Like this red
Right.
goldish color. But Cayman, theirs are blue, and that's how you know at night. And you'll see, like when
Oh,
you're going down, yeah, when you spotlight the canals and you see blue, then those are Cayman.
huh.
And
I do
so
I do
it's
know something interesting about that too. It depends on if you're shining that light straight on, like with a regular alligator, you'll get a
mhm.
red eye shine. But if you shine it on an angle, it could look yellow. So
Yeah, that's what I'm
the
saying. They
colors you
do.
can't.
They look, yeah, they look kind of like red goldish color, but
Mhm.
Cayman blue, 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 like blue. It's crazy. Yeah, it's actually neat. It's really kind of
So
neat.
it sounds like you've seen some caiman then.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We used to do a lot of outdoor type stuff, and we used to do crazy things. Crazy
I have to say,
things.
you and your son are an awesome duo, and I seen a show with you and him on there, and he's a very intellectual guy. I like how he presents himself. You guys are
Thank
an
you.
awesome team. Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you. I
no
appreciate
problem.
that. Yeah, he's really amazing. And speaking of which, when we were talking about the portal thing, we were talking about those portals. Because his documentary, he just released one not that long ago. It was actually kind of like a side project. His main documentary, he's still working on, but he put one out called Panhandle Monsters, and towards the end towards the end of it, he shows some photos that he was allowed to release that showed portals. So if anybody wants to kind of check out
Wow.
some and see some amazing portal photos, check that out. It's on his channel, Supernatural Spectrum. You can go and check it out. It's called Panhandle Monsters. I would check out it's all great. It's all great. But towards, if you want to see those photos, though, it's kind of towards the end of the documentary. You can check it out. Maybe it's like the last.
Yeah,
I
I'm
can't
definitely
remember.
gonna check it out and
Yeah,
subscribe. I got to subscribe to his channel, and
yeah.
all these people in chat. If you guys haven't subscribed to Marty's channel here, I would definitely do so. She has a lot of big name people, and she has great
Thank
content.
you.
I really enjoy
Thank
it.
you. Thank you
No
so much.
problem.
Yeah, September is really looking good for me. I'm telling you now. Like I got you today. I've got next week. I have Jay Bachochin from Finding Jay. He has a
Oh,
documentary. He has a documentary on Amazon, and then he just released a second documentary on Vimeo. Is it Vimeo? And it's amazing as well. And I can't wait to talk to him next week. The week after that, I have Priscilla Stone, and she's the Quantum Witch, and she's all about the UFOs and UFO encounters. And yeah, the girl has so many degrees. I couldn't even tell you. I don't even know how many. I've never seen so many letters after somebody's
wow.
name, but she's amazing. So I'm gonna have her, and then the very, very end of the month, I'm gonna have on Robert Kreider.
Oh wow,
So yeah,
that's a big
September's
lineup you got.
yeah, September's amazing. It's gonna be a fantastic month. I cannot wait.
That's
So
great.
yeah, yeah. But thank you for the compliment, and I appreciate it so much. And I would love to encourage you to start your own channel and just
I've
start.
had people ask me that before, and it's
Yeah, you should
I'm
do
still on
it.
the fence. I should, yeah.
You really should. And listen, for not for nothing, if it's just a video diary for yourself, for you and for Primal
Right, right,
Cry, for you guys, just to have a video diary, and then you can just kind of be like, "Hey man, I don't know what the heck this was, but I heard this weird noise and I'm putting it up." I mean,
right.
just for yourself. And I guarantee you it's going to blow up like crazy because you have some amazing evidence. You guys
Well,
doing amazing work. Yeah.
this is
And I'm
evidence that's been collected over a 4-year span, so it's not like it's a daily routine, but you do see or hear things almost every other
yeah.
day. So I
Because
could possibly do that, you know.
yeah, you absolutely should. You absolutely should. I mean, you're there, you're living it, and you're coexisting in their environment with them.
That's right.
And
Yep.
and you're not having sinister issues. You're not having harassment going on. You're literally coexisting with them, and having no problems. And that tells me that is attainable
Yeah. That's
for
why I
others.
do want to push it to the next level and see if I can get some
Yeah,
contact. But I'll tell
yeah.
you what, if I ever do open up a channel, once I could do some shows or live stream, I definitely have you on if you're willing.
Oh, of course. Of course. Of course. Of course. Of course. Anytime. And I hope to have you back. And, maybe we can do,
Anytime.
yeah, maybe we could do another show um, where we talk about, more of your evidence, because you've got a lot of evidence. I mean, it's not even like you sent me a lot, and I guarantee you have more than what you sent me, a shit ton probably. So
Yeah, I was gonna say a little bit. Yeah.
well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I
Thank
hope,
you.
I wish you all the best, love and blessings. And I just, I respect you so much. I respect the way that you are going about this, and you're really trying, like you said, to build that relationship with them. And that's important, because to me, all the evidence in the world doesn't
That's true.
change anything. The only thing that's going to change anything is if we continue to build relationships with them out of respect, and some kind of contact with them, so that we can learn more about who they are as a people. Yeah.
That's true. And I don't push that subject because it's ultimately up to them, you know.
Yeah. Exactly.
So we'll see what happens with that in the future.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, good luck to you. Tell Primal Cry I love her so much. She's amazing. And
She is amazing.
yeah. So you have a good night. Get inside. Get safe. I'm kind of like I'm watching in the background back there, and I'm just like, oh my god, any second something's gonna
Oh, you
so
never know. I've had similar things happen, but
yeah, yeah.
one thing I do like to say is,
Mhm.
as far as Dogman goes, I recently found out because I was listening to a show on B Moss's channel, and she had a guy
Mhm.
named Mark on there, and he was talking about how he's seen. You know how sharks, when they attack things, they have a film. It's not an eyelid. It's like a shield or something that comes down. It's kind of
Uh-huh.
transparent that
Yeah.
protects their eyes. Well, this guy's seen this dog man have one of those, but it was black. It covered its eyes, and it wasn't an eyelid. And I
Wow.
actually have a photo. I think probably the only photo that I know of where you could see those eyelids are down, those
I yeah,
film or whatever you would call
yeah,
it.
I forgot what they're called. But I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a
So, and there was no danger with the creature, but I had a big bright light on during a show like I do now, and it was
mhm.
peeking its head up over, and I think the light was bothering its eyes. So think about this too. If they have a black membrane that comes down over their eyes,
Mhm.
you're outside with a flashlight. If they have those down, you're not going to get eye. that's another sneaky aspect about those entities, how they could sneak up
That's
on people and
interesting.
whatnot.
That's
Yeah, think about
interesting.
that.
Huh. That's some food for thought.
That is.
Because, yeah, that's food for thought.
And a little bit, each little piece that we keep learning more and
Yes.
more about, we're gonna get closer to the end
Get
result.
close. Absolutely. 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 We're truth seekers, right? At the end of the day.
Right. That's right.
Yeah. 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 Thank you again. Thank
No
you.
problem. Thank you very much too.
Thank you. Good luck to you. Good luck to you. And I wish you all the best. And I hopefully I can have you back on soon. Okay?
Anytime you want, just let me know.
I will. Thank you.
Hopefully, I'll have some new
Mwah.
evidence. Take
Talk to
care.
you
Thank you.
soon.
Have a
Bye.
good one, chat. Thanks for showing up.
Thanks everybody for being here. I really appreciate it. I think that that was an amazing interview. Um, I really enjoyed spending that time, spending an hour and a half with someone who really, really is doing the work. And I appreciate when we have truth seekers that are willing to share their evidence. And not everybody is as receptive to sharing their evidence and their research. They're just not. Some of them just are not. They don't want to open up about what they know. They don't want to open up about what their findings are for whatever reason. And I just enjoy having powerful researchers come on and talk about what they're seeing and what they're coming across out there. And I think we learned some new information tonight about Dogman, and I'm very, very happy about that. And I think I'm definitely going to go back and listen to this interview one more time because I think there was a lot of gems and nuggets in there that we can all take away from this particular interview tonight. And again, I want to thank all of you in chat. Thank you so much. Jean, thank you. I know you said you made it a little late, but thank you so much for coming. Shane's, thank you so much. You've been so active in chat tonight. Jay, thanks for coming. Strangeland, Overbill, everybody, you guys are fabulous. And now I'm going to do my shameless begging. Please, I want to get to 500. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. If you could share it out, I'd appreciate it. So share, comment, subscribe, all those fun things. I appreciate it. And I will see all of you guys on Monday night, 9 o'clock. Matt and I have our show that we do together called Dive. Can't even say it. Dive into the depths. And so I really appreciate you guys coming over and watching that as well. So thank you guys. Love you. Enjoy the rest of your holiday weekend. Lots of burgers, lots of hot dogs, chips, sodas, beers, whatever you guys usually like on having your fun days. Matt and I are actually going to go and do some research this weekend, so I'm excited about that, to get out in the woods. And have a great one, guys. I love y'all so much. All right, take care.